Alright, John Oakes here with Hanksters Hot Rods, and today we've got another addition to our inventory to go over with you. This being a 1967 Pontiac Gto, and yes, this is a real GTO, a real 242 VIN numbered car. So as you see, everything here is all the correct panels. It's got the steel factory GTO hood on the car. We've got this beautiful turquoise color here that has been all polished up, so it's nice, smooth, and shiny the whole way around on this particular vehicle. You can also see the color combinations on this car. We've got a very nice looking white vinyl top on there to go along with the white interior that's in it, which we'll take a look at a little later here. As we always do, we look down the side of the car. I want to go over with you how the panel fitment is, how our elevations are, and how everything lines up. So on this car, down the driver's side, everything falls right in line. All of our body lines match up really good on this car. Again, our elevations from our front fender to our door to quarter panel are all right in line with one another. I do not see any deviations in the car as it goes down the side. As far as any bright work that we see along the sides of the car here, we can see that our car first and foremost has the bright lower body moldings the whole way down the side of the car and even back onto that rear quarter panel. In combination with that, you have the GTO 6.5 liter emblem down here at the bottom of your front fender. We've got the bright wheel lip moldings. We've also got the mirror here on the driver's side. The chrome finish on that is in excellent shape. We've got the bright drip rail moldings here too up along our vinyl top here. You also have the bright moldings here along the top of the door, back here where your quarter window is, and again finishing off with the wheel lip molding on the back side there. Now as far as other things here, our windshield, I'm going to go over that real quick, but we'll take another look from the front here too. But our windshield is in really good condition here. It's got the tin at the top here. As far as any scratches, any chips, or any cracks, there are none of that on this windshield. It is in great shape. As far as our vinyl top, it is nice and tight, pulled tight. I always feel down through the rain gutter here, the whole way down and along the bottom trim back here too, to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. It's no secret that on these vinyl top cars, that's where you would normally feel any kind of bubbles if there was. But again, this car is super straight the whole way down, so you do not feel anything at all whatsoever. And again, normally you'd be able to check the paint and so forth down in this rain gutter, but again, it's a vinyl top car, so you don't have that option. But the vinyl top is in great shape, nice and smooth the whole way back down through there. Now as far as our gaps go, you can look at our front gap on our door and our back gap, and you can see that they're pretty uniform on this particular car. So everything's been adjusted very well on this car. You've got the chrome finish on the door handles too, and there's no pitting whatsoever on that. It's nicely shined up there for us. So we'll come around here. I'm just going to open our door up so we can take a quick peek inside. Now you can see that the turquoise from the exterior, it follows its way over into the interior of our car, so that's all painted up. All of our seals here and weather stripping, even up along the top here where your window comes up against, all of that is in great shape. It's all nice and soft. There's no cracks in it from being dried out and being old. It's real good quality stuff there, and it looks real nice. Now you can see our interior. It's kind of like that pearl white almost in here for your front and rear seat upholstery, as well as the door panels in the car. And of course you've got the turquoise carpeting and the dash to go along with it with some wood grain accents in there to help dress things up. Looks really nice inside, but again, we'll go through all of that once we get to the interior. Close the door, it shuts real nice and easy. As we walk back, again, I'm looking at panels to see if they're straight the whole way down the side, and there is the body work and paint. There's no waviness whatsoever on this car. Now, as far as wheels and tires go, we can get a good look at these now. We have a nice set of BF Goodrich radial TA tires on this. The tread is like brand new on these things. 225/60 R15s are the size on all four corners. And you notice that we've got the 15-inch factory steel rally wheels here painted up. And again, we've got the beauty rings and the PMD center caps to go along with that. Okay, now that we're around the back side here of our 67 GTO, we're going to take a look at starting up here at our rear glass here and some of this vinyl top and trim work here. Now again, already feeling around the vinyl top everywhere, it feels all smooth the whole way around that. All of your trim and molding here around your rear glass is in excellent shape, polished up real nice. The rear glass also itself, no chips, no scratches that I can see, looks good, and it looks like it's got just a very slight tint to it as well. As far as our trunk lid here, you can see our gaps on our trunk lid and our elevations there when compared to the quarter panels here, and everything looks to be really nice on this GTO. Now you see the antenna back here, that is a power antenna. The unit's all installed back there in the trunk lid, or inside the trunk there as well. Now as far as our tail panel goes here, you can see all of our tail lights. Of course, this is the slotted tail light look there for the GTO. All of your bezels around your tail lights are all in great shape. Lenses are in good shape too. I don't see any chips or cracks in any of the lens covers here whatsoever. Paint on here looks great too. Of course, all of your bright work, your molding and your trim along the trunk lid and around that tail panel also polished up really nice and looks good. Big chrome back bumper here, and again, that's beautifully polished up. Our dual exhaust here with our slash cut chrome exhaust tips, that looks very well too. And of course, you've got the GTO badging back here on the trunk lid itself. If we go ahead and open our trunk lid up now, we'll take a look at the inside. You can see that the underside of that trunk lid painted the same turquoise as the rest of the car, polished nice, so again it doesn't have a flat finish inside, it's nice and shiny. You've got your decals here for your jack usage and jack stowage over there. You've got the rubber bump stops here so that when you close that trunk lid, it rests on those. Also our trunk weather stripping here and seals the whole way around. Nice and soft the whole way around. They come together perfectly right here in the center. So again, this is going to seal up real nice for you. Inside, the correct black and aqua trunk spatter paint is used. All of your drain plugs are installed, and that floor is a one-piece complete unit and looks great. As I said, we do have the power antenna back there. That unit's all installed back there. Trunk latch and lock all work very well too. Okay, so now on the passenger side, again, no sense to go over a lot of the same stuff, but again, we do want to look at this side also and make sure our panels are in alignment with one another, that elevations are on and everything like that. And again, over here they are. So all of our body lines, they all line up with everything else here. The GTO badging on the quarter panel, again, all of the emblems on this car are in great shape. Bright work along the bottom of the car there, all the way up from the rear quarter, all the way up to the front fender, all look very good too. Of course, our wheel lip moldings are all nice and straight on this car. There's no dents or dings in any of that. We've already gone over the fact that we've got the 15-inch factory rally wheels. And again, our vinyl top on this side again. I'll do the same thing. I run my hand across here and up along that drip rail there. And again, everything is nice and smooth the whole way around there. All of your bright work along the top edge, up here where your quarter window is, and along the top edge of the door, that is all in great shape. You can see it's nice and straight, polished up real well, no dents or dings. The handles, again, no pitting on those whatsoever. Even your trim around, say like your vent windows here, are in great shape. Even the rubbers around those are in really good shape. Just like we do on the other side, we're going to open this side up too and just take a look here too. Again, that turquoise comes to the inside as well. Again, our weather stripping and seals the whole way around are all in great shape, nice and soft, no tears or anything in any of those. The threshold plates, those look great as well. So we'll close that and we'll look at our gaps now. Gaps on the back side of the door and the front side, and as we compare those, they're going to look very much the same front to rear. So again, this side's been adjusted very well as also. I already mentioned we've got that GTO 6.5 badging down here, and then our front fender, again, as we look from front to back, we've already looked the opposite way, but again, I want to do it from here to the back, and I'll let you know also that everything is nice and straight. Bodywork and paint looks great down the side of this car. All right, now we're finally made it to the front of our 67 Pontiac GTO. So up here, you're going to find just what a GTO looks like. You've got your stacked headlight assemblies here, traditional sealed beam units, glass lenses in these, and none of the lenses have any cracks or chips in them. They're all in great shape. Of course, you've got your bezels that go around your headlights here on both sides. Those are in excellent shape. They look pretty much new. There's no pitting, nice, smooth, and polished up as they are on this car. The grille work on the GTO, it's in excellent shape as well. We've got the GTO badging right here on our grille. You've got your parking lights or your turn signals up here too. And again, the lenses on these, clear lens, and they're in great shape. There's no chips or cracks in those. And the bezels or the bright work around those are in great shape too. Of course, you've got the chrome front bumper here too to go on with the rear bumper, and it's in great shape too, polished up very, very nice. As we move up to the hood, first of all, we've got the GTO hood, all steel. This is the scoop for on the GTO. Again, it looks in great shape. You've got the Pontiac arrowhead emblem here right on the front of the hood. And then if you look the whole way around, you can see your gap on your hood. Uniform the whole way across from side to side. Your gaps up along the sides are very uniform too, and your elevations are very good too on this car. So panel fitment the whole way around, very nice on this particular car. So now that we've been through all of that, we're going to go ahead and open our hood up here, and we'll get that open. And one last latch here. There we go. And our hood's up. Now on the underside of the hood, they've gone ahead and painted it that same turquoise as the rest of the car. Polished up again, it's not dull or anything, so they got it shined up underneath here. And now we get to the engine. Now this is not the original motor for this car. However, we did check all the numbers and the codes on it. It is a YY coded block, which means it's a Pontiac 400 block. I believe the year range on it was the 76 is what it was from, I believe. We've got power steering and power brakes. Now this car was a power four-wheel drum brake car, which is what it has. We've got that 400 engine. Now on this motor, we've got a chrome air cleaner and chrome valve covers. Right underneath the air cleaner, we've got probably the original Quadrajet 4-barrel carburetor with the stock cast intake manifold on it here as well. As far as heads, it's got the 6X heads on it. And as far as water pump and so forth, that's just all of your stock stuff there. For exhaust work, we've got stock cast exhaust manifolds with a dual exhaust that we'll check once we're underneath the car. Then we have this nice aluminum radiator. This is going to cool this thing a lot more efficiently than your factory or stock style radiator. And of course, it's got a fan shroud with a 7-blade clutch fan on there. All of our hoses and everything all look very good on the car. I don't see any leaks or drips anywhere on here, so everything's sealed up real good. We've got a breather, actually breathers, plural, on the valve covers here, so that's going to help vent the heads and the crankcase there for you. And as far as anything else, we've got a good Bosch battery in here. We've got the battery disconnect in them. Those are a good safety feature that we put in these cars. Standard on all of them, only because these cars don't get driven a whole lot. You can disconnect that battery so you're sure that the battery doesn't go dead whenever you're waiting from ride to ride that you take this car on. Other than that, heater lines are all hooked up. Ignition system, they've retained the stock style distributor and coil, and then of course the plug wires, they've probably been upgraded a little bit, but it still looks like they're probably a 7mm plug wire there as well. So with that said, we're all done underneath the hood here. All right, now that we're sitting inside of our 67 Pontiac GTO here, we're going to take a look at the interior and point out to you exactly what we have inside here. So starting out at the door panels there, you can see that we have kind of like a pearl white door panel, as well as like seat upholstery in here. So it's matching door panels, front and rear seat covers. You can see obviously we've got bucket seats up front. The upholstery on the seats look to be in really good shape. I don't see any rips or tears in here whatsoever. So that all looks well, and it cleaned up really nice. As far as the dash and carpeting, you can see that it is kind of like that turquoise color that we've got on the outside there. The dash itself is in great shape. There's no cracks in the top of the dash at all. When you look down at our gauge panel here, you can see we've got this beautiful wood grain trim on the dash, as well as our center console, and we have this beautiful wood grain steering wheel here with the Pontiac horn button there as well. Now, as far as gauges in the car goes, this is all factory instrumentation up in our gauge panel. We've got the battery and oil pressure gauge over on the left hand side, also a 120 mile-an-hour speedometer over there as well. Then to the right of the steering column, we've got the fuel and water temperature gauge, and we also have a tach installed in the dash. Again, all factory instrumentation. Then just to the right of all of that, you'll see this nice GTO 6.5 liter, kind of like a block off plate. This is a heater delete car, so you do not have the heater units here, the controls for it. Just below that, this looks to be a probably a custom auto sound radio, but it's got the Pontiac badging on it. It mounts right in your stock location. You do not have any modifications whatsoever to the dash, so it's a direct fit, but it gives you a digital AM FM radio, and sometimes these radios can come with options that you can hook like iPods or MP3s up to them. I'm not sure if this has that option, but it is a real nice digital AM FM radio at the very least. Underneath here, under our dash, we do have a couple of aftermarket gauges. They are good gauges though. They're auto meters, which again are great. We've got water temperature and the oil pressure gauge. Now, one of two reasons that you would have an extra gauge down here for those, being that it's already in your dash. One would be either they just don't read too accurately, which I believe on this car they are just a warning light, so you actually can't just see a good reading per se on those gauges. So they go ahead and install these gauges. That way you've got an actual reading to go by. So it just allows you to monitor your engine a lot closer. As far as the headliner goes, we got this beautiful white headliner in here, all of which is intact. I don't see any holes or tears. I don't even see any fraying in any of the stitching. Sail panels are installed. They are pulled nice and tight in the back. Sun visors, same thing. Got the same color upholstery on those. You put them down, they stay down. You put them up, they stay up. So everything is good there too. Now in our center console here, you see we've got the 4-speed shifter. This is a Hurst shifter, the correct shift ball on top with the 4-speed pattern, and this is hooked up to a Muncie M21 4-speed transmission. So that's what you have for shifting your gears. We've got front seat belts present in this car. Does not look like we have rear belts in here though, but again, a lot of these cars didn't come with any of them back in the day. That was an option that you had for that. Of course, just to finish out the interior then, over on the passenger side of the dash, right above the glove box here, you've got your grab handle for the passenger to hold on to. You've got your GTO badging here on the dash, as well as out on the door panels. You've got your GTO badging there also. So that's pretty much it. Your carpeting's in great shape. No tears, no fading that I can see on any of the carpeting. It all looks good. So I think whoever's interested in a Pontiac GTO, when you look at this car, I think you're going to find this is a really nice car for you. Alright, so I'm standing here now underneath our 1967 Pontiac GTO, and again, yes, it is a real GTO 242 VIN code car. So again, we're just going to go over what we have here on the underside of the car, point out to you all the components and what everything looks like, starting up here at the front of the car. So up here, talking about suspension, we're going to go ahead and start with our front sway bar here. You can see that that's in shape, good shape here. We've got the frame mount bushings, again, all in great shape. Even the sway bar end links, those look to be pretty new on this car. The bushings are in great shape and the hardware all looks new on those. So again, sway bar is all intact and looks good. As far as the suspension arms up front, now these are just going to be your stock stamped steel components. So your lower control arms and your upper A arms, all of which look to be, they're probably powder coated from the factory, I would assume. But again, those all look to be in great shape. Shocks look like they've been swapped out on this car sometime fairly soon, not long ago, because again, all of your bushings and the mounting hardware on all of it is in great condition. Ball joints, all of that stuff looks to have been replaced fairly recently too. Those are in great shape. The Zerk fittings, everything all looks clean here. Rubber dust boots are all intact. Even on your tie rods, again, all of these components look to be fairly new. So your adjusters, all the bolts and hardware look great. The ball joints look great. And again, all the rubber dust boots are all intact. Then your front cross member, you can see how nice and straight this is. It's not dented up in or anything, so you can tell that nobody's ever hit anything with the underside of this car, so it looks good there. Now, right above that, our motor. We'll just talk about our driveline real quick here. The driveline consists of, this is a non-original motor. This is a 400 Pontiac motor. So again, after running all the numbers, we can tell it's a YY coated block. Now, coupled up to that, we've got a Muncie M21 4-speed transmission. We can tell that because the Muncie M21s have the stud with the nut that the shift levers attach with. So that is what we have in here. Aluminum bell housing. We've got the cover on the front for the flywheel to help protect that. You can see our cross member here for the transmission. That's in great shape. Mounting hardware looks to be fairly new on that too. The other thing I do is look at underneath here, make sure that I don't see any drips, any wetness or anything like that. And I can say that right now, looking at what I can see here, everything looks dry to me. Now, coming off the back of the transmission, of course, our drive shaft. This is a balanced drive shaft, so you are weighted. That's going to take a lot of the vibration out of your drive line on this car. And then in the back, we've got a GM 10-bolt rear end. It's an 8.2-inch ring gear there. As far as wheels and tires to get all that power to the ground, we've got a set of 15-inch Pontiac rally wheels. They're the painted steel rally wheel, complete with the beauty rings and the center caps, and those are the PMD center caps too, as with most of your GTOs would have come with. Wrapped on those wheels, we've got a very nice set of BF Goodrich radial TA tires, all of which are all the same size. They are 215/60 R15s. So again, all of your tread too, these look to be brand new tires because the tires look great on it. Now as far as braking components, this car is a 4-wheel drum brake car. Now again, the braking system works great on this car, but that's what these would have come with, was the 4-wheel drum brakes. Now as far as your floors go underneath here, you can see all of these floors, these look to be the original floors, but they're in great shape. I don't see any patching or any holes on these floors whatsoever, except for right up here in the transmission tunnel. So it looks like at maybe one time they maybe swapped the transmission out on the car, and they did trim that out, but they did an excellent job. I mean, the cuts are very straight and it looks great. They've done the right job on this car. As far as exhaust work, dual exhaust, true duals, coming from the stock exhaust manifolds all the way back here to a set of, now these are probably like a turbo style muffler here. Then of course you've got the correct style tailpipes that go up over top of your rear end, and then they exit out the rear of the car, and they're finished off with a nice set of slash cut chrome exhaust tips back there. As far as rear suspension, it's just your stock metric 4-link back here. So you've got your lower control arms, your upper control arms here too. All of your bushings and everything look to be in great shape on both tops and bottoms on the car. Again, shocks, same thing as up front. Looks like they've been swapped out fairly recently. Everything looks great. All the hardware looks brand new on them. So all that looks really good. As far as your trunk or your fuel tank here, I should say, fuel tank looks great. Again, this looks to be fairly new too. All of your mounting hardware, the straps, the bolts, everything that keeps that all tucked up in here looks great. There's no dents or dings. Like I said, this tank looks new. All of our rubber lines going into it at our fuel sending unit there, that all looks good too. Now on this particular car, they've routed all of the brake lines and the fuel lines up alongside the driver's side frame rail. They did a real nice, neat job of it, so everything's tucked up in, is about as neat as what you can get. Frame rails look great too. They're nice and straight and square the whole way down the sides of the car. Even your pinch welds along the rocker panels on both sides, those look to be great shape the whole way down both sides of the car there. As far as trunk floors, from what I can see, again, most of it's up above that fuel tank, but all of your trunk floor looks to be in good shape too, good and solid, and I don't see any patching from underneath here either. So with that said, I mean, you can tell all the bracing here is in the floor. There is nothing missing on this car whatsoever. It all looks to be in good shape.